Every day, millions of people walk through the doors of McDonald's. Children celebrate birthdays. Workers have lunch quickly. Families share a meal. And travelers find a familiar place in countries they have never visited. Today, the Golden Arches are one of the most recognizable symbols on the planet. But almost a century ago, McDonald's was not an empire. It was not a global brand. It wasn't even a restaurant chain. It was just a small family business in California. And no one imagined that it would end up changing the fast food industry forever. This is the incredible story of how McDonald's built the most famous fast food empire in the world. The story begins with two brothers, Richard McDonald and Maurice McDonald, known simply as Dick and Mac. Like many entrepreneurs of the time, they were looking for an opportunity to prosper. For years they tried different businesses. They worked in the world of entertainment. They managed small businesses. And they finally decided to get into the restaurant business. In 1940 they opened a restaurant called McDonald's in California. At first it worked like many other roadside restaurants. Waiters. Extensive menus. Traditional service. But the brothers noticed something important. After years of observing their customers, they discovered something surprising. Most of the profits came from a few products. Mostly, burgers. French fries. Soft drinks. Everything else barely generated profits. It was a risky idea. But they decided to try it. In 1948 they temporarily closed the restaurant. They redesigned the entire operation. And they created what they called the Speedy Service System. A system inspired by factory assembly lines. Each employee had a specific task. One was cooking hamburgers. Another was preparing potatoes. Another served drinks. Everything was calculated to the second. The result was revolutionary. Wait times were drastically reduced. Costs went down. And the quality became consistent. While the brothers perfected their system, a salesman named Ray Kroc was looking for opportunities. Kroc was over 50 years old. He had spent decades selling products. And he still hoped to find the business of his life. One day he received an unusual request. A small restaurant had purchased several smoothie makers, more than any business normally bought. Kroc was curious. And decided to visit him. When he arrived at the McDonald brothers restaurant he was impressed. The lines moved quickly. The customers were satisfied. The operation seemed like a perfectly synchronized machine. Kroc saw something the others had not seen. I wasn't observing a restaurant. I was looking at a scalable business model. Kroc proposed expanding the concept through franchising. The brothers accepted. And together they began a new stage. The first franchises began to appear. But Kroc had extremely strict standards. Everything had to be identical. The same flavor. The same service. The same experience. Regardless of the city. Kroc understood something fundamental. Customers value predictability. They wanted to know exactly what they would receive. And McDonald's had to guarantee it. Over time conflicts began. The McDonald brothers wanted to grow slowly. Kroc wanted to conquer the entire country. The differences became greater and greater. Finally, Kroc made a decision. Buy the company. After long negotiations, he acquired the rights to McDonald's. And he became the absolute leader of the brand. From that moment on, the expansion accelerated extraordinarily. Many people believe that McDonald's got rich selling hamburgers. But the reality is much more interesting. One of Kroc's advisors had a brilliant idea. Instead of just franchising restaurants, McDonald's would buy the land. And then I would rent them to franchisees. This changed everything. McDonald's didn't just make money from food. He also earned income from real estate. A strategy that fueled its growth for decades. As the company grew, it needed a recognizable image. This is how the famous Golden Arches were born. Over time, those arches would become one of the most famous logos on the planet. Recognized even by people who couldn't read. During the 1970s and 1980s, McDonald's began its international expansion. New countries. New continents. New markets. But the company learned an important lesson. I couldn't sell exactly the same thing everywhere. It had to be adapted to each culture. That is why special products began to appear in different countries. McDonald's went global, without ceasing to be local. McDonald's invested huge amounts in advertising. The brand had to be present everywhere. Television. Radio. Magazines. Posters. Sports events. And then Ronald McDonald appeared. A character designed to connect with children. And it worked. Entire generations grew up associating fun with McDonald's. The success also brought criticism. Feeding. Health. Environmental impact. Working conditions. The company faced questions around the world. But McDonald's responded by adding new options. Salads. Fruit. Healthier alternatives. The company understood that it had to evolve. In the 21st century, McDonald's transformed again. Touch screens. Mobile orders. Home delivery. Automation. The company continued to adapt to new generations. Because in business, innovation never stops. Today McDonald's operates tens of thousands of restaurants around the world. Serves millions of people every day. And it generates billions of dollars a year. But McDonald's story isn't just about hamburgers. It's about efficiency. Standardization. Brand. Scalability. And business vision. What started as a small family restaurant in California ended up becoming one of the largest business empires in history. The McDonald brothers created a revolutionary system. Ray Kroc saw his potential. And together, in one way or another, they changed the food industry forever. Because sometimes success isn't about inventing something completely new. Sometimes it consists of taking a simple idea, perfect it, replicate it thousands of times, and execute it better than anyone else. And that's how McDonald's built the most famous fast food empire on the planet. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.